Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Thursday.
When you're traveling, there are certain things you need to worry about. Like, are we going to have snacks? What's the music we're going to be playing? Are we going to have access to bathrooms? It's a huge one. Are we there yet? It's bad timing. I got to pee. There's a new poll. Study finds. This is all about travel. When traveling and needing to use the bathroom collide, poll results include 29% of travelers saying that they should be compensated for having to sit next to somebody who farts. Probably on like a bus, airplane, train, whatever. 1 in 12 admit to pooping themselves while traveling. It's got to be a hairy situation for that. It's got to be really rough out there for that to be happening. I understand that's probably not the first resort. 44% say they've skipped their washing of hands while on vacation when there was no ability to do so. Sometimes soap is just not around. And this is one that's wild to me. 40% of people saying that they've peed in a bottle when they couldn't find a toilet. We've all seen the scenes. We know what that's like on paper, I guess. On the screen, sure, but I've never actually done that. I feel like maybe I'm missing out on a life experience or something.
Uh-oh. What? What's wrong?
The bottle's almost full. I'm still going.
So stop going.
I can't stop going once I've started. It stings.
It's time for Cruz Music News with Steve Reeve.
Love when those old rock and roll stories start to come out. Guns N' Roses' manager is now telling a story about way back in the day when they were about to have their first Guns N' Roses tour in Japan. And apparently Slash and Izzy Stradlin, apparently their entire stash that was with them, going to the airport, I might add, had to be taken care of, shall we say. And so they decided to just, do everything. I don't know if we can get into all the details of the story right here, right now. But sounds like a really, really crazy time. Flights that you wouldn't want to be taking in that state, that's for sure. That's a long flight, no matter where you are in the world. Mumford & Sons, they're going back to the basics in a new live-streamed show that happened in Manchester, part of the Amazon Music City Sessions series. But we'll be pulling out a bunch of classic tracks in a very stripped-down and intimate-style show. And set list photos all being revealed online. And last.fm is where you're going to be able to find everything. Trying to find where you can get a full video of this entire performance, but so far, just the photos. For now. Still looking. And this is a cool idea that is very, very much something that should have legs and should be going all over the place, but there are locations that are testing out a trial Walk Home Alone Safely system that is designed to have people going out to live music shows, whether they be giant concerts or small intimate gigs, and making sure that people are able to get back to their houses safely. A joint effort between Viagogo and Uber, of course, in locations where they have both of those things, but still, just a fantastic idea and a system that should technically, really already be in place everywhere there is live music. You know what gets me? When the politicians, they get real cheesy with it, trying to seem more human than they are. Carney's just at the kitchen table having coffee with us. How did you get into my house, Mark? It's aggressively, hello, fellow humans. I am one of you. And then, flip side for the opposition right now, Pierre's big, bold move to show strength and tenacity in the face of threats to our sovereignty and our freedom as a nation. Ditching the glasses. That's the big move. But, honestly, it's giving more Weasel than Superman. I think he thought maybe if he could de-Clark Kent, it might move the needle a little bit. But somehow, he looks nerdier without the spectacles. Here's the at least for Canada. They're not both 90 years old. That's good news.
Friday.
Trying to figure things out these days. I'm glad it's not my job to keep track of all the tariff announcements. Don't get me wrong, I am trying. I just don't know if I'm succeeding all that well. It feels like there's just endless new information, and the percentages are sometimes different. A lot of them seem to be 25. They're tossing these things out like T-shirts out of a cannon at a monster truck show, It's like tariffs are the sponsor of the day on some daytime talk show. And you get a tariff, and you get a tariff, and you get a tariff. I'm good, thanks. Do you get annoyed when some stranger tosses their empty drink bottle in your recycling bin as they walk by? Cruise mornings. I get it, but, it's still better than on the ground, right? Well, that might seem a little bit less annoying next time it happens after I tell you about the scourge of one man named Alex's recycling bin down in Portland. Someone has been showing up in the middle of the night, according to the story, and placing several full bottles of urine in Alex's bin and then driving off. There's video of it happening, though I guess nothing clear enough to give any identity. So many questions. Are they filling them up fresh? Is there just a weird supply and somebody's trying to get rid of them, like a little bit at a time? We're talking like 6 big bottles at a time, by the way. How did Alex even notice in the first place? Well, they stopped picking up the recycling, naturally, and it didn't take much investigating to figure out why. And police, I guess, have told him the only crime was that the waste wasn't placed in the garbage bin instead. Like, the crime that was committed was that, you can't recycle that and it's in the recycling bin. That's so helpful. If I were Alex, I would be obsessed with this. I would be obsessed, and there would be a boatload of cameras and spy gear set up, low light, infrared, everything, to get to the bottom of this. The bottom of the bottle. The bottom of the gross pee-filled bottle. Ugh.
Hey Alexa, play the Steve Reeve podcast.
Getting close to Easter o'clock, and we've got to start thinking about, the decorating, the chocolates, the fun that we're going to have. And some people are anticipating this year, I think particularly down in the United States, but, partially up here in Canada as well, a shift away from eggs. You know why. They're expensive. And a shift to Easter potatoes for some this year. Might be an option. And I'm not knocking it. If that's the adaptation you got to make, go for it. Just as fun to decorate, and they don't smell nearly as awful when they go bad. We're getting started off with a wholesome story that Zakk Wylde has shared about his early time touring with Black Sabbath, or rather Ozzy Osbourne solo after Black Sabbath. And he was talking to Metal Hammer magazine, talking about they were in Japan, and after a gig, I guess Oz came into his room and went, Zachy, you got any beers? And he went, well, yeah, I've got one, but I'm not giving it to you here. Sharon's across the hall, and she's going to see us drinking, and is that going to be good? So Ozzy's response, as the story goes, was, all right, tell you what, I'll meet you in the bathroom. They go in the bathroom. Ozzy follows in, gets into the stall next door, gets a beer pushed under the stall, and I guess Zakk just hears the can opening, the classic sound effect. Down in one go. Empty can comes back under the stall barrier, and then just the words, thanks, Zakk. I'll see you at dinner. Fantastic. The Who's Roger Daltrey was getting together with a few other people and gave some words on how he feels about new technology in music. They actually were getting together for a launch event, a new book called Words of Love, celebrating Buddy Holly. He was alongside Ronnie Wood of Rolling Stones, who actually provided the cover art for that book, and just talking with the audience and with people about what was going on in the world back then and nowadays in music. He specifically says, Daltrey, we're throwing bleep at the wall, and some of it stuck. There's something about the technology I feel personally we're losing the essence of the heartbeat. A lot of people do agree. And in other news, Jeremy Allen White has finally shared a little bit of his sing-song ability when it comes to this biopic, Bruce Springsteen biopic that's following the creation of the 1982 album Nebraska. I guess at CinemaCon, footage of Jeremy Allen White singing Born to Run was finally revealed, though not to the general public, at least not yet. It was never looking good. It started not looking good when Firefest 1 was just a complete and utter disaster. Documentaries made about it, so you can find out all the information from that. But essentially, a fraudster just tricked everybody. A con man told everybody that this thing was happening, and it was not the thing that was promised. And, really selling it to the socialite elite for extensive amounts of money. And then people got, barely constructed sandwiches in little styrofoam packages and nowhere to sleep, that kind of thing. Thousands and thousands of dollars for nothing. And he went to jail for it. And now people are actually buying tickets to the second one. I can't even believe this. Here's the latest news. Looks like a new disaster has cropped up because apparently originally Firefest 2.0 was going to be at Isla Mujeres, Mexico. But that couldn't go through. I wonder why. Then it was described as being a Playa del Carmen event, but now that Mexican city is saying officially there's no such event coming to Playa del Carmen, and they're not letting it come to Playa del Carmen either. So, where's Firefest 2.0 going to be? Well, we all know the answer. Nowhere.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.